Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to another episode of Behind the Brand. Today we are sitting down with someone who is living the reality that thousands of aspirants have dreamt about. Today we'll discuss what it is really like to live the life of IIM when it's not filtered through LinkedIn posts or Instagram stories. It's all about achievement or it is something about more human, more raw. Joining us is Parisha Diria, a second year IPM student at IIM Rohtak, and someone who is already building an impressive journey beyond the classroom. She has worked as a public relations intern at Girl Up Femina, community relations intern at Mid Class, sales and marketing intern at Ashman Foundation, and recently joined at Nova as well. In this conversation, we are going beyond the tag, what's real, what's hidden, and what no one tells you before you enter an institute like that. Hello, Parisha. So glad to have you here. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi, thanks. It's absolutely my pleasure being here.
So let's first start with your reaction. When you saw your IPMAT result and found out that you were going to IIM Rohtak, what was your reaction? What was the moment like for you?
It was a very, weird moment. I pretty much did not expect to get my result. I was out shopping. I was shopping and I called my sister that, choose an outfit for me. And she's like, leave all of that. You have got into I am Rohtak. And I'm like, stop kidding. Just choose an outfit for me. She repeated it thrice. And that's when I was like, I need to check my mail. And I stopped. I dropped my bag. I rushed back home. And the celebration was great. So, yeah, it was very exciting. Absolutely unexpected.
That's great to hear. So, is there any moment where you felt let down? Like this is not what I signed up for. Any moment you could share?
Oh, my first week at IIM. So it was my very first day. We all came, and there was a small introductory session among all the classmates. So we went the girls' hostel discussing everything. I heard everyone's achievement, and I was stunned. Like, do I have to survive with these people for the next 5 years? Somebody's AIR1 in somewhere, this achievement, that. They're from, big companies they've worked with. Every kind of achievement you can think of. Everyone is better than you in whatever you do. That was shocking. And then the very next day, we woke up at 5 a.m. and found out that we have to go yoga classes every day. Again, unexpected. That was still fine. Later, when came in the classes, I thought it would be a basic college life kind of class, easy studies, but no. Seeing my curriculum, how diverse it is, and me especially being scared of maths, I was like, I'm not doing so much maths in BBA. Definitely unexpected, but now I realize how important it was. We studied so many diverse subjects and everything is connected. And I have diverse knowledge now and I'm grateful for that. Unexpected but beautiful.
So it's clear that college brings more surprises. Let's rewind to the preparation that got you here. Let's talk about your preparation journey. What did studying for IPMAT actually look like for you, and what would you honestly recommend to aspirants preparing now?
Okay, so I started back in my 10th, 11th, but I was not very serious. It was just like my sister suggested do it, so I was doing it forcefully 1 or 2 hours a day. And that all went till my 12th. But later, when my boards ended, the very next day, I was having a convo with my friend and I realized how important it is to study hard. And the rush in me came. I was studying 12, 13 hours every day from the very next day of my board to the last day before IPM exam. 12, 13 hours constantly, no Sundays, no breaks. It is actually hard. Not something the 11th grader Parisha expected. But those 50 days of dedication finally got me here. And the piece of advice I would suggest is mocks, mocks, and mocks. Only a mock can tell you your reality. Yes, you'll definitely score very less in the initial days, but analyzing your mocks is something I lagged at first and I did it at the very end. But yeah, give mocks, analyze your mocks, and improve. You'll slowly improve. That's okay.
Now here comes a question that a lot of aspirants would be waiting for. Since you are living the IPM experience, if someone asked you, should I take IIM Rohtak, drop for Indore, or aim for CAT later, what would be your honest answer would be?
Okay, that's a very subjective question. It depends from person to person. See, some people have a very dedicated dream that if I'm doing IPM, it has to be Indore. I tell you that's not the case. Every IIM has a lot to offer to you. But still, if you're way too dedicated, you may have a drop. That's okay. IIM Indore is definitely worth it. But leaving Rohtak is also a bad option. You'll waste a lot of time and money. And we, even as IPM aspirants, we are preparing for CAT. You can always appear for CAT. You don't have to leave right now to prepare for CAT. If you're getting in, that's fine. And I don't think more than, you know, if you're giving it your first attempt, you did not clear. A partial drop is fine. I would not suggest a complete drop. CAT is always an option. Our main goal is obviously MBA. Have a partial drop. These 3 years will be worth living. But do not sacrifice too much of your time. You have CAT. Always keep CAT as your option.
That's a really great advice for all the aspirants. So, how your normal day at times look like? Like, what is your daily schedule, minutely?
Daily schedule. Okay. I hope the aspirants don't get scared after this. But so if there are days where I'm attending my yoga classes, suppose, so I'll wake up at 5ish, we'll rush to our yoga class, obviously be late there. We'll be there till 7 in the morning. We come back, fresh up, get dressed and all. By 8:30, we leave for breakfast. I do my breakfast till 9 and all. Then I sit in the library. We have classes from 10:20. So 1.5 hour I'll be in library doing my either assignments or study. From 10 to 5:20, we have classes. You have a lunch break of 1 hour in between. Have your lunch, chill, chat with your friends till 5:20. Then we again come to the mess, have our good tea time, a very nice friend talk. The entire group will be sitting till 6. Then we go back to the library. Again, study. You study or do your courses or maybe internship work, whatsoever, till 7:30. In my first year, my dinner time was from 7:30. So 7:30 to 8:30 again we'll be at the mess having our dinner. Sharp at 8:30 we have our in time. We take a nice walk from mess to our hostel, everybody chit chatting and all, and we run back at 8:31 obviously. 8:30 we get in, and then everyone is on a call with their parents. 9:30 you'll call, you'll sit, come back, chill, whatever. From 9:30 to 10:30, very honestly, we do our gossip session, we chill out with hostel friends, we do every weird possible stuff. And then from 10:30 to 11, again, some bit of work, study, whatever. And we sleep by 12:30, like that.
So that's your daily schedule. That's intense, to be honest. But what is one rule that you want to change, or if you were in the administration, you would have changed? What is that one rule of Arnold?
Yoga attendance. Having to come to yoga classes to get your leaves. If you want to leave the campus, go out on Sunday, take a leave, you have to come to yoga classes. No, I would definitely change that. So, yeah.
Okay. So how would you describe the level of freedom at Arnold? Like you said, compulsory yoga classes and even permissions. So does it feel like a college or more like a extended school structure?
So, the very first day we joined, we had our induction session, and one first line we have been told was, it is a Gurukul. You're not here for a college, you're in a Gurukul. And it is. As a BBA student, yeah, MBA does have freedom, but in BBA, the freedom level is very less. We cannot step out of the campus, we cannot stay out at night. We have certain times to follow, rules to follow, rules inside hostels, rules outside hostels, yes. But I'm glad I'm under a strict environment. You know, when I see other college students, this environment actually protects you from being spoiled, maybe. That's what I feel. The amount of foundations we have, and Rohtak forces us to study. It forces us to brush up ourselves. It's very strict, but good for you.
So recently, I went through different social media handles and different places. So there has been some buzz online around the leadership at IIM Rohtak, especially about the director, with a few headlines that caught public attention. As a student on campus, does any of that event affect how students feel about the institute, or how others respond when they hear you are from IIM Rohtak?
I don't think so. There might be controversies, but we have director session or we meet the director, at evening when we are playing around. Director always comes on a jog or run, and he's actually a nice person. You see him, you greet him. He's very chill and all. His session are the most fun part actually. He'll be honest, he'll be realistic, and he'll show us the right path. So as a person, I admire him. He's a nice person. I don't know about the legal part and all of it, and inside campus, no, we have no effect. In fact, it's fun. You see him jogging, running around, forcing us as well that we should be physically fit. It's fun. And as such, I have not. If I tell people that I'm from Ahmedabad, I don't think this is the first thing that comes to their mind. The first thing they'll think is, "Oh, you have the IM tag," and
Oh, that's a completely different opinion on what I got from internet and what I got from you. So most people, when they come to college or when they think about college, the big college image is parties, relationship, nightlife. So from where you stand, what is the reality of dating, hookup culture, and party culture at higher market?
first the party culture, very less, very less. I tell you. You won't be like a normal college student going clubbing and partying all night. No, we do have fest. It's fun when it is, but hardly once in 2, 3 months, or maybe twice a year. Partying is less, but when it is, it's fun. And dating and all that depends again person to person. But since it's a very concise environment, all of us live in the same campus. We eat together, we study together, day and night. We are living all together. Yes, so it's a nice part. It's actually very beautiful. Even if you're seeing someone, you're with them 24/7. So it's fun. But again, everything has consequences. You cannot spend an entire day, entire year, entire time with just one person. I won't say the dating culture is spoiled like outside, the Gen Z culture. No, it's not like there's a lot of hookup going on, this, that. No, it's serious actually. It's beautiful.
That's good to hear.
So, yeah.
So is it actually more draining or like to try and make new friends or make friends in hyper competitive space like this? Like there's too much competition over there.
Well, everybody is competitive, obviously. Everyone is better than you. But the friendship here are good. The friendships are very good because we all know that it's just these 100 or 150 people I'm surrounded with. I have to eat with them, sleep with them, study with them, play with them. Whatever I'm doing, I'm not going out of this environment. So everybody is very cooperative. You don't have some stuff, somebody or the other will have it and they'll share. Everyone is very open to share, live peacefully because हमारे पास और कोई नहीं है हम ही एक दूसरे के साथ है if you're sick, you're sad, whatever, all you have is these people. So everybody is very, very friendly inside. Even if somebody is not willing to, they have to cooperate. The life forces us to cooperate and live. We cannot survive alone here. People are very good.
That's the best part of college actually. So how is senior junior dynamics over there? Like any ragging issues or senior junior dynamics? I hope you can answer this.
No, actually, we have a very strict rule that we cannot interact with any other batch. You need to be in your batch. Like officially, you can. Obviously, we do talk, we live in the same hostels. We do have some amount of interaction, but it's not like you can completely be with your senior chilling in their room or whatsoever. So, absolutely zero ragging. Our college is very strict on rules. If you'll be found breaking any one rule, you'll be punished immediately. Ragging is zero level. Seniors are sweet, and obviously, we have unofficial interaction. Officially, on paper, they say to stay away. So, absolutely no ragging. And everybody pretty much minds their own business. Everyone is too busy in their life to come and rag someone.
Of course, of
So,
course.
yeah.
So what is the one moment, incident, or any part of the campus culture that genuinely shocked you from inside? Like something you never expected that could ever happen?
The leave taking procedure. Like, uh, the it's a long procedure, I'll explain. So, you have to go yoga for 1 week. And when your attendance is above 75%, you need to get a form printed, and your parents have to mail them. You need to get the print, fill the form, submit it, and wait for a few days. Then you'll get revert. and then they can reject it, and then you have to again do the same process. So it's a 2 week process to get out for one day. I was shocked. I was sick at the start, I remember, and I just went to the office. I want to go out. Uh, then, then I came to know about this procedure. So, they're like, you have to be enough level of sick to get out. You can't just get out saying you have a fever or something. Even if it's an emergency, at times, yeah, that's shocking.
So is this same for MBA students? Like they are obviously postgraduate students. So is this same for MBA or is it just for IPM students?
Just for IPM, but even for MBA, there are certain shocking rules actually in our college. Uh, Come back before 5 p.m. or in times and stuff, or maybe that attendance criteria. We have a very strict attendance criteria. It mostly has to be 100%. At max, you can take it to 80 in some medical emergency cases, which is very hard to maintain, every day 10 to 5.
So how is academic rigor over there? Like you said your daily schedule, you said classes, but how is academic rigor, like presentations and everything?
It's actually very, very rigorous. When we say acad rigor, it's a rigor. You know, yeah, in MBA, though we have like 3 terms and 10 subjects per term. Right now, we have 7 subjects and 3 terms. That is 21 subjects a year, which is hard. And you have exam nearly every 45 days. Midterm, 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 midterm. The cycle goes on and on. You need to study day and night, yes. And the diversity. We have subjects from humanities, commerce, science, everything. It's not like you're good at one subject, so you opted. You have to study business along with philosophy, along with psychology, integration, differentiation, accounting, everything. So your comfort zone does not matter at all. You're good at it, you're bad at it, doesn't matter. You have to score good. And we also have a very strict grading system, so it's very easy to get kicked out here. So you need to maintain that. Yeah.
That sounds interesting, to be honest. So how is, like, many people would be interested in this. So how is extracurricular activities or sports culture in IIM Rohtak? Like, are there tournaments, and how are the fest of IIM Rohtak?
Oh, sports. Our sports committee is very active actually. As an I'll only tell you about the IPM, obviously not MBA. But we have so many competitions, inter-batch wars, section wars, team wars, and many, many kind of things. You'll have holistic sports event, one event going on for 10, 15 days, and you'll have every kind of sport. Every batch competing against each other, all of that. It's fun. We also have a student activity center where you can go every time in the evening and play every day. Sports culture is fun. The fests are fun. Actually, they're nice and fun in MBA. In IPM, the fun is kind of restricted, I would say. When the fest happens, yeah, obviously it's fun, but you can't participate for too late. The party is going on till 2. You have to be back by your end time in IPM. And in my first year, I've seen less fest. I hope the second year has more. We do celebrate, like pujas and all are very nice, very pretty. We celebrate festivals together. But the actual party, clubbing culture, if you're asking about fest and party, that's less. Once a year it's fun, but obviously in DU and all, you'll find it every other month. It's different.
There's been a lot said about placements at IIM Rohtak. Things like lack of clarity among students and even doubts about how real some offers are. As an IPM student, do you feel the system gives you a clear path and enough support, or is someone mostly figuring things out on their own?
I feel I'm not the right person to answer this. I mean, the MBA students are given better clarity because they get placed. I've just done my first year at IPM, so we have not been taken too deep into it. But seeing my seniors and all, I feel the placements are nice. It's not as corrupt as they show it from the outside. And yeah, my college does prepare me for a lot though. We have clubs and committees that give us internship and all. We have mandatory internships at the end of every year. So all of these gradually prepares me for my placement season. I can't directly tell about how the fifth year placements are. I've not been there, honestly. But yeah, I have skill development courses and everything. So I feel my college does prepare me for it. Now I don't know if they serve me the plate or feed me, what it is. We'll find out.
So what is your take on fee structure? Like IPM have a huge fee structure, having 20 lakhs around for BBA degree and then MBA. So what are your takes on the fee structure of IPM course?
The fees is definitely high. Yes, very high. And in the start you might even feel, why am I paying 20, 40 lakhs for this harsh living condition? Nothing is good. The hostels are bad. This is bad. That is bad. But again, it's about after 5 years when you'll get placed. I feel you can get it all back. With the high fees is worth it. Doing it from a normal college in a low fees, yeah, it's good and fun. Good for now. But will that college offer you the economic security for future? That's sketchy. The fees is high, maybe not worth it, but the ROI is definitely worth it. Now it might be harsh that 20 lakhs for this living condition and all this, but after 5 years when you start earning, making your own money, you can all have it back. So it's fine.
It's good to be honest.
Yeah.
So how are the hostels at IIM Rohtak? Like I have heard from one of my friends that there are 8 people in a single room. Things like that. So how is hostels and facilities at IIM Rohtak?
Well, if you're joining as an MBA student, it's good. It's fine. Everything is fine in MBA. Things are harsh in BBA. They prepare you for life, very grounded life, I tell you. We are four people in a room. It's a small room, bunk beds, just one table and almost half almirah. Common washrooms. It's hard, but it gets better every year. We get a better hostel every year. Gradually in MBA, you're just two people. In from the third year even actually, you're two people in a room, personal washrooms, all of that. BBA hostels are harsh to live in, obviously, but if you have good people, good friends, you make it worth it. We are four people in a room, but we vibe. We decorate our room our way. We just make it beautiful. We were given just a broken, small, congested room, and we made it home. So it's on you. And I tell you, this 3 year struggle is worth it. You might be living in a bad condition, something not as your home. You might come from a very nice and comfy room and now you're here. But it's okay. You need to make it fun. It's a part of life. The campus is huge, actually. It's huge. At the start, you'll find it very huge. That, oh, I'm lost. Where am I? Where do I go? But later, you'll realize that could have been better, could have been better. And I guess that's okay. Basic human behavior. Whatever you get, you'll keep looking for better. But yeah, we do have facilities. We have small parks, beautiful walking area, hostels, plants, and all. Depending on the season, since it's more in the north, it gets dry. Obviously, dry, sandy, and harsh. But it's pretty. It's fun. You have spaces. You have beautiful yoga space. It's a big amphitheater. And while we do yoga, the sun rises from the front. It's so pretty to watch that. And then our activity center, it's also nice. Yeah, it's a bit less maybe as compared to some IIMs, but comparing to a normal college, it's fun, it's nice.
And how is the mess food and canteen food over there?
So we have one canteen, Nescafe, our savior, our go-to place. It's nice, obviously. Whatever you find inside paid, it's nice. The menu is good. I mean, you don't have to struggle that I don't eat this, I don't eat that. I guess the menu is holistic, you have some option or the other to eat. Obviously, it's a hostel. You need to compromise a bit on the food, but I don't think it's as bad as the outside PG or other foods. You have fruits, you have milk, you have some variety, chole bhature, rajma chawal, this, that. So it's bearable. It's more like eating the bad roti sabzi or eating a bad chole bhature. So it's a bad chole bhature.
Exactly, exactly,
The menu
exactly.
sounds fancy, so it's edible. Fine, fine.
Fine, fine. Yeah. So as now we have reached towards our end, if a student in class 11th or 12th came up to you and said, I am dreaming of joining IIM Rohtak, what is one honest, no fluff piece of advice you would give them?
Be ready for the worst. Be it the worst living conditions or the worst rules, the harsh rules, or the harsh academic rigor. You have to leave all your luxury. You have to be very grounded to live here. Eat the grounded food, follow the rules, the grounded way of living in hostels. By grounded, I actually mean very economically grounded. You have to be prepared. Be mentally prepared, actually. Don't be like, oh, I'm going and I am. It's all posh and all. No. You'll go in a worse place than you are at your home. But yeah, it's fine after all. The tag is worth it.
Damn tag. So that was the real I am Rohtak through the eyes of someone who is living it every day, not through PR or not through rankings, but through a 6 a.m. late night breakdowns, and moments that you don't make it into placement report. If you are an aspirant or someone curious about what lies behind the tag, we hope this gave you more clarity or maybe even some more questions. We'll be back soon with you with more stories, more tests, and more truth behind the tag. We'd love to know what stayed with you. DM us, share your thoughts, or tell us what campus you want us to explore next. Till then, take care and goodbye from Team Behind the Tag. Thank you. Thank you, Parisha, for joining.
Thank you so much.